Hello everybody, this is Magnetar Prime, and here I have the Transformers Energon figure, Starscream, that was released in the year 2004 under the Energon line. This figure comes with his Energon Sword, Energon Rifle, and 2 missiles. Unfortunately, I have lost both of his missiles, but despite the fact that I have owned this figure for 10 years, this figure feels and looks brand new. Energon Starscream was casted mostly in dark, clear green plastic to resemble his Energon Ghost status, and the details applied to this figure are just fantastic. I'm gonna bring this figure closer to the camera so you can see some of the details applied. As you can see, this body or this mold was actually designed for this figure. It was a brand new mold at that time. I'm talking about in the year 2004, and this is what it looks like from the backside view. We can see on the wings he has 2 Decepticon insignias or logos that has been applied or sculpted right into the plastic mold, which is a really cool feature. We can see on one of his wings it has this detail right here that it also makes a reference to his Energon Ghost character. Now the paint job applied is asymmetrical, which means that it's not the same on both sides. As you can see, there is a difference right here. Now we're going to rotate this figure around so you can see the front side view. And again, you can see the difference between the 2 shoulders. This one right here is a clear, almost translucent green plastic compared to the other one right here. And again, this is to make a reference to his ghost status in the series. Now on his chest we have a nice Decepticon insignia that is right here, located right on top of the cockpit. The head sculpt for this figure is just fantastic. I really like it a lot. And we can see this section right here that has been applied, or the paint job applied is red and golden. And we can see 2 screws right here in this section. Now the legs do have a lot of sculpt right into the plastic mold, and I definitely like to see figures like this that they have many details applied. It is just like really cool. Now on his hand we can see like he has like 2 lasers that has been applied right into the plastic mold again, and the colors is kind of like gray or silver. Now I'm gonna set this figure aside here real quick because I want to show you the accessories that come with Starscream. And like I mentioned before, he comes with these 2 accessories, and this one is an Energon Sword. As you can see, it is also a clear translucent green plastic, which is very nice, and we can see that the edge of the sword has been painted silver, and it gives it a little bit more of the detail, you know. Now I'm gonna set this here real quick just for a second, and I'm gonna show you the Energon Rifle. Now this is a rifle. As you can see, this is where it pegs right on his hand, and again the colors is just fantastic. The details applied to this figure is really cool. We can see like all this section right here. So this has been very well designed and very well detailed. Now these two weapons can actually combine and form a larger Energon Sword, and I'm gonna show you that right now. We're just gonna tap these 2 together, and then we have a large Energon Sword for Starscream. And before I put this on his hand, I'm gonna show you what it looks like when he has the little sword in his hand. You can just peg it this way, and here we have Starscream with the Energon Sword, which is a very nice feature and it's a very nice weapon. I really like it. Now he can also use his rifle on the other hand, and this rifle is a little bit heavy for his hand, or especially this one right here, but that's not it's not that bad at all. Now I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera so you can see more of the details when he's holding both of his weapons. Again, this figure is very nice, and it holds a very special place in my heart because this was one of my first Transformers figures that I bought as an adult. It is because of this figure that I actually started collecting Transformers again. Now I'm gonna show you once we combine these 2 weapons, and I'm gonna put it right on his hand. Here we go, and we have a very big Energon Sword for Starscream, which is a really nice option. As you can see, let me stand it up real well. Now let's rotate this figure around so you can see it. Again, the size of this sword is just massive. It is actually even bigger than the figure if we put it side to side. I'll show you that real quick. So it is a massive sword. Now I'm gonna leave it aside here for a second because I want to show you the other gimmick of this figure. Now, what I was mentioned before, that this figure comes with 2 missile launchers. They were actually supposed to be in here, but unfortunately they're been gone for a while now. But one of the gimmicks of this figure while transforming to his robot mode is that this section right here, the wings, you can just untap them right here and they can be folded up all the way here, and this is to reveal his hyper mode. Now this is a very nice feature, I definitely like it a lot. It gives Starscream a different look. Now if he had his missile launchers it would look probably better, but this is what it looks like when he is transformed into his hyper mode. Now I'm going to rotate this figure around real quick so you can see what it looks like from the backside view. Again, this figure has a lot of details and the paint job applied is just fantastic. Now I'm going to fold these wings back again, and I'm going to leave Energon Starscream here for a second. Another feature of this figure is that you can actually attach both of his weapons right on his wings, and I'm going to show you. Both of the wings, they have a peg right here, and both of the weapons, they have a hole right here, so you can actually attach them right on the wings. I'm going to start with the rifle right here real quick. I'm going to put it right on his right wing. Here we go. And now the same with the Energon Sword. I'm going to leave it right here. Now I think that this is a very nice option because this way you don't really have to be storing the weapons apart in a way that they can be misplaced or lost. So this is a very nice option like I mentioned. Now I'm going to rotate this figure around so you can see what it looks like from the backside view once he's holding both of his weapons. In my opinion, this figure was very well designed, and back then this was a brand new mold that was designed for this figure. And this was actually a brand new mold, but it was also used for the Transformers Timeless figure Skyquake and Leozak. Also, the Japanese version of this particular mold is called Nightscream. And not just that, but this mold was also repainted and released again under the name Energon Starscream under the Energon line, making this figure the Transformers Energon Starscream. And this particular version features colors similar to the Generation 1 version of Starscream. Now, on a side note, when he was first listed in the Walmart computers back in 2004, it was under the name Skywarp Interceptor, and maybe that was an idea that was cancelled, but there's no way to know that for sure. So this mold has been used a lot. Now let's take a look at the articulation for this figure. Now let's take a closer look at the articulation of this figure, and I'm going to start with the head sculpt. As you can see, the head sculpt can be rotated 360 degrees without no issues, but that's all the articulation it has. It cannot be moved up or down. As you can see, it's just locked in place. Now the shoulder can be rotated 360 degrees without any issues, as you can see, but they are actually mounted right on this back section. They're not mounted on the body or the torso of this figure, as you can see. Now for the articulation on the arms, it can be moved to the side about 90 degrees, which is very nice, and it does have elbow articulation, which is a really cool feature. Now the fists are actually not articulated. As a matter of fact, the fists are just sculpted right into this plastic section right here, but that doesn't really bother me. Now it does have this section over here, which is like little wings of the Jetfighter mode. He doesn't have any waist articulation, as you can see, because it's locked in place to the back section of the Jetfighter mode. Now the legs are also on a ball joint, as you can see right here, and they can be moved to the sides, front and back without any issues. It has a knee articulation which is about 90 degrees. Now let's talk about the feet. The feet can be adjusted just slightly, a little bit, but this is more for transformation purposes. Now despite of all of that, this figure is very articulated and it can be posed in so many different ways. And now I'm gonna bring some other figures from my collection for a quick size comparison. And here, for our first size comparison, I have the 2013 Botcom exclusive figure Starscream. As you can see, these two are the same character, but the body is totally different. Now these two are deluxe class figures, but the size difference is a little bit obvious. We can see that the 2013 Botcom exclusive Starscream figure is slightly bigger. Now I'm going to rotate it towards the back so you can see the backside view of these two figures. Now let's bring it back to the front side view. And now let's get Botcom Starscream out of the way. And now here we have Starscream next to the Transformers Generation figure Thundercracker. I'm gonna bring these two closer to the camera so you can take a better look at the two head sculpt of these two figures. As you can see, they both are very nice and they both were very well designed. Now the size is probably just about the same, but it seems like Starscream is just slightly bigger. Now we're gonna move them front to front, and here we have the size comparison. Now we're gonna rotate these figures around, and this is what they both look like from the backside view. Now let's bring it towards the front one more time. Now let's get Thundercracker out of the way. Now let's compare Starscream next to the Transformers Generations figure, Megatron. As you can see, the size difference is kind of obvious. Now let's move them front to front. And as you can see, Megatron is a larger figure, but they both are considered deluxe class figures. This is what they both look like from the backside view. Now let's rotate them around one more time towards the front. Now let's get Megatron out of the way. And this time I have the Transformers figure Autobot Scoop that was released under the Generations line not too long ago. As you can see, the size difference goes in favor of Starscream this time. Now let's move them front to front. This is what they both look like front to front. Now let's take a look at the backside view of these two figures. So the size difference is kind of obvious. Now let's move these figures towards the front. And this time let's compare Starscream next to the third-party Transformers figure Airburst, also known as Blastoff. Now I don't know if you remember this or not, but in the Generation 1 Transformers series, Starscream was actually the one who created the Combaticons. Now let's move them front to front, and as you can see, the size difference is just very obvious. This figure right here, Airburst or Blastoff, is actually the size of a Voyager class figure. Now this is what they look like from the backside view. Size difference is just tremendous. Now let's move them front or towards the front one more time. And now let's get Airburst out of the way. And here for the last size comparison, while transforming to his robot mode, we have Starscream next to the figure Generations Hoist. As you can see, the Generations figure Hoist is slightly smaller than Starscream. Now let's move them front to front. This is what they both look like. Now let's take a look at the backside view. And let's rotate them around one more time. Now let's get Hoist out of the way. The Transformers Energon figure Starscream transformed into a Jetfighter very similar to an FA-22 Raptor. The transformation process is very simple and it does not take a lot of time. And I'm gonna show you that right now. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab these two sections right here of the feet and I'm gonna push them down together just like so. And this section right here, we're gonna fold it down or rotate it down this way, just like so. Now what I'm gonna do is this entire section, we're gonna open it up and we're gonna rotate this around this way. Now as you can see, we're gonna fold this all the way up, just like so. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold these arms in here and I'm gonna push this section right through this little hole in here, and I'm gonna do this from the other side so you can have a better idea of it. And we're just gonna fold this in and we're gonna push this right through it. It is very simple, and again the transformation for this this particular figure is a lot of fun and it doesn't take a lot of time. Now all we have to do is we just have to fold this up right here. We're gonna lock it in place and I'm gonna rotate this into this section right here. We're gonna lock it in place again, just like so. And this is pretty much everything for the transformation of this figure. Again, the transformation process was very simple and very fast, yet once it is transformed into his Jetfighter mode, it looks just awesome. Now I'm gonna bring this figure closer to the camera because I want to show you all of the details that this figure has. As you can see, the plastic mold has many details sculpted right into it. We can see all of this section right here and the two Decepticon insignia logos right on the wings. On this section right next to the cockpit, we can see like it seems like some kind of fence or ventilation device for the Jetfighter. Now this is what it looks like from the bottom side. Again, this is the landing gear, which I'm going to show you. It is actually located right here, and to get it out you just need to fold this down. Now this unfortunately doesn't really rotate at all. It's not like a real wheel or anything. It's just a piece of plastic that has been molded to resemble a landing gear, but as you can see, the details applied is just fantastic. Now this is what it looks like from the top side view, and we can see a nice Decepticon insignia right in here. Now what I was mentioning before, that the two Energon weapons that come with this figure can be attached right under his wings. I'm going to show you that real quick. We're going to start with the Energon Sword. We're going to peg it right in here, and the same with the Energon Rifle. And now this is what Starscream looks once he's transformed into his Jetfighter mode and once he's holding both of his weapons. Now this is a very nice option. I definitely like this figure once he's transformed into his Jetfighter mode. I think the color supply are just fantastic. And the fact that he can put these two weapons under his wings is just a very nice feature. Now I'm going to set this figure aside here real quick, and I'm going to bring some other Transformers figure from my collection for another size comparison. And here for our first size comparison, once he's transformed into his Jetfighter mode, I have one of the Rainmakers from the BotCon 2013 souvenir pack. Let's move them front to front, and the size difference is not too obvious, but once we move these two figures this way, you can actually tell, or you can actually see that the Seeker from the Generation line, or the BotCon in this case, is just bigger than Starscream's vehicle mode. Now let's get this BotCon exclusive out of the way. And here we have the figure TurboTrax from the Transformers Rebuild the Shield line. As you can see, the size difference is not too obvious. It seems like they're probably about the same size. Now I'm gonna move them this way so you can see or have a better idea of the size. Now once we have these two figures this way, we can obviously see that Starscream Jetfighter mode is bigger than TurboTrax vehicle mode. Now let's get TurboTrax out of the way. And now let's compare the Transformers Energon Starscream figure next to the Generations Armada Starscream. As you can see, these two figures are just awesome. The paint job applied on both of them is really nice, and I definitely like all the details applied to them. Now let's move them front to front, and this is what they look like, and they look pretty much about the same size. Now just to be sure, let's put them this way, and yeah, they're pretty much about the same size. Maybe Starscream from the Energon line is just a little bit bigger than the Generations Armada Starscream figure. And here for our final size comparison, and also from the Transformers Energon line, we have the figure Snowcat, which is also a deluxe class figure. Now let's move them front to front so you can have a better idea of the size of these two figures. Now this is what they both look like from the top side view. Again, the figure Starscream is slightly bigger than Snowcat. Now let's get Snowcat out of the way. Now that we have seen Starscream transform into his Jetfighter mode, his robot mode, his two Energon weapons, all I have to say is that this figure is really cool. The articulation is good, and the paint job applied looks great. And it will definitely be a great addition to any Transformers collection. And with this, I conclude this video review of the Transformers Energon figure Starscream. Thank you for watching. This is Magnetar Prime. Until next time. If you like this Transformers video review, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Magnetar Prime, or stop by my Facebook page, Magnetar Prime Reviews. This is Magnetar Prime. Until next time.